We begin in West Africa, where all roads leading in and out of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Nigeria's capital, Abuja, that was reported blocked by organized labor union to enforce a directive on members working on the aviation sector to stop all flights to Owerri, the Imo State capital, have been opened with air passengers having free access to the airport. Earlier, passengers have been left stranded and unable to continue their journeys due to the protests by labor unions. The unions had declared a nationwide industrial action last week after Joe Ajaero, president of the NLC, was assaulted and brutalized in Imo State. Aviation unions had on Wednesday directed their workers to withdraw services to all Owerri flights from all airports in Nigeria, aligned with the directive from organized labor. And now to election matters. And less than 48 hours before the election, supporters of the All Progressives Congress have gathered at the government house in Imo's capital, Owerri, to show solidarity for the incumbent governor, Hope Uzodinma. The chief of staff, amongst other stakeholders, spoke on what to expect.
All the agencies in now, the NSCDC, the police, just name it, any form of police parastater is available here. There is massive deployment of security operatives packed on with their vehicles, operational vehicles, and even in town we've seen and we've monitored, and we can see enough police officers, including the army, and just if you look up there, you can see there is a patrol by helicopters. That's the second one we have seen today, just hovering around and trying to ensure there is security, there is safety in the environment. And even in town, we've seen enough security operatives roaming around, even the army setting up checkpoints at various areas within the state just to ensure safety, not just for today, but of course for the election day.
Let's across live to Niyi, who joins us live with the police force public relations officer in Owerri, Olomoyiwa Adedugba. All right, good afternoon, Niyi.
Good evening here, Adebola.
Yes, just bring us up to speed regarding what's happening right there, where you are in Imo State.
Adebola, as I reported earlier, there's heavy police deployments here in Imo State. But of course, I have here with me the first public relations officer, Omoniyi, Adedugba, to help us understand better what the security architecture is and what it was and what it will be looking forward to the forthcoming election. Let's talk about the deployments so far. How many actually we run this case because I can say no, I didn't get this. This exercise, this takes, I don't know.
Okay, Niyi, we have a challenge with your audio. We're struggling to hear what you're saying and what the officer as well is saying.
Can you confirm my audio now? I have a better quality so they hear what the most communications officers.
We still can't hear you quite clearly. Okay, we'll try to bring you that conversation before the end of the news bulletin. But moving on, let's talk about something else happening in Nigeria. And now preparations are in top gear ahead of the off-season election in Kogi State. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Kogi State, DIG Habu Sani, has assured citizens that there will be a hitch-free election as the force is committed to providing the needed security for the people of the state. The AIG gave the assurance while briefing senior police officers at the command headquarters in Lokoja. According to him, the command is on the lookout for those who will avail themselves of being used by desperate politicians to disturb the voters during the election. And while attesting to the good moral conduct of the officers that will be deployed for the election, the AIG assured the public to come out and exercise their civic duty, as electoral violence in the state will not be tolerated. And let's cross live to our correspondent, Bettina Onweli, who is right there in Kogi State. Bettina, good evening. Glad to have you join me. All right, Bettina, just give us a flavor of what's going on right there where you are in Kogi State.
Hi, Adebola. Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Okay, could you bring us up to speed regarding what is going on right there in Kogi State, where you are?
Part of the day, but let me just brief that again. So the security... Okay, what is going on right here? We've seen a couple of security vehicles move past us. Earlier on, we had the DIG in charge of force security in Kogi State, Habu Sani, and he had a press conference addressing the press, telling us what to do and what not to do against Saturday. Now, according to him, Kogi State has 40,000 security personnel on ground, and these 40,000 people are going to be shared in batches, and they're going to be moving in vehicles. So according to him, he has advised that every press person on Saturday, the election day, shouldn't move alone. So if you have to move from the polling unit where you are to another polling unit, he has advised that you move behind the convoy of security personnel that have already been made available by the state to avoid being a victim of any mishap, which they are prepared to handle, of course, if that comes up. We are hoping that for the first time in a long time, Kogi State will not have any electoral violence. Many will say that that's very wide to hope for, but the citizens living in Kogi State, we are all hopeful and hoping that everything will go according to plan this time around. Also, earlier on, we had the PDP having their final campaign, the end of their campaign rally, and former President Atiku Abubakar, who also came to support Dino Melaye in Kogi State, had commented and said he was disappointed, which allegedly he says that the governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, had denied them the use of the Confluence Stadium for their rally, which he thought was a very, very low blow from the opposition. But that is what we have so far.
Of participation, do you sense a voter apathy, or do you sense participation of the people in Kogi State in terms of the election coming up on Saturday?
Well, a couple of areas we will say there's a bit of tension. Now, the reason is this. I said earlier that the governor of Kogi State had already booked all the hotels in Kogi State. Now, for every hotel that you go to, you be told that the hotel is fully booked and there's nothing that they can do about it. And in these hotels that are fully booked, you see a lot of party people branding party flags and party face caps. So you know already that these people mean business. But we are hopeful and prayerful, like we said, that there will be no bloodshed regardless of all of these that are happening around us.
But how about the people in Kogi State themselves, those in Kogi, residents in Kogi State themselves? Do you sense they are willing to come out and vote on Saturday, or you sense, or you sense them, being hesitant in terms of coming out to vote on Saturday?
Kogi citizens are actually very, very ginger to vote. A lot of them are ready and waiting for Saturday. This is because, according to some people, well, Kogi State hasn't fared so well under the APC. So they are hoping that if they give another party a chance, perhaps light will come to Kogi State. So the citizens, the indigents, they are very prepared, waiting eagerly for Saturday to come so they can cast their vote, and hopefully their vote will count.
All right, thank you so much. Our correspondent right there, Bettina Onweli, right there in Kogi State. Thank you so much, Bettina Onweli. In the meantime, concerned youths in Kogi State, Nigeria's North Central, under the aegis of Youth Against Electoral Violence Accord and Ready to Lead Africa, have joined other stakeholders to demand for a peaceful poll in the state. And during a peaceful rally at the state INEC's office in Lokoja earlier today, the group urged the electoral body not to compromise its promise of credible election. They also urged residents not to sell their votes, snatch ballot boxes, or allow themselves be used by desperate politicians. The concerned youth also called on ad hoc staff, National Youth Service Corps members, as well as security agencies that will be deployed to the election to conduct themselves in a civil manner, as whatever they do will make or mar the election and the future of the state.
We are here this morning to really commend INEC and also to tell them that as as the election draws closer, we want to admonish and say that INEC should do what they needed to do peacefully, as we also know that they've been doing this for long. We want to say let the vote of the masses count. That's the message. Let the vote of our masses, electorates that come out in number in Kogi, as they cast their vote, let it count. We don't know INEC for manipulation, and we don't expect any in Kogi elections. As people come out to vote, let their votes count, because the votes they cast is for their future, for the future of their children and for the future of the yet unborn. We are not happy with what has been happening in Kogi State in terms of violence, but that is all within your domain. But we still want to say, because we can see some security personnel here, they can also send this message. Kogi is being identified as a war zone when it comes to election, and it's not good for our image. It's not good for our image. We are here to send this message. Let this narrative change. Henceforth, Kogi should not be known for a peaceful and credible, fair election.
The National Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, in Bayelsa State says all is set for the governorship election slated for this Saturday. The HOD, Voter Education and Publicity, Bayelsa State Wilfred Ifoga, disclosed these to News Central team monitoring the election in the state. According to him, 27,000 police officers were deployed for the election, excluding other sister security agencies within and outside the state. He reiterated the Commission's preparedness to conduct free, fair and acceptable poll on Saturday. Meanwhile, INEC has commenced the movement of non-sensitive electoral materials to the 8 local government areas of the state.
In terms of the election here in Bayelsa State, these are some of the basic facts. The election will be conducted on 11th of November 2023. And of all activities that have been outlined, there were 13 in number, and of which have actually carried out 11. So the other activity that will be carried out is the stoppage of campaigns by political parties. Okay, today is the 9th, so by 12 midnight today, all public campaigns will stop. Apart from that, 8 local government areas are in the state, and the election will be carried out in all the 8 local government areas. Together, the 8 local government areas have 105 registration areas that we refer to as wards. And also, we have 2,244 polling units. But election will not take place in the entire 2,244 polling units, but it will take place in 2,240.